know you got the probe or whatever.
Ryan Garcia linking up with David Benavidez for the Mario Barrios fight is one of those gym stories that sounds cool on paper, but hits different when you understand what's actually happening.
This isn't staged gym footage made for clicks or social media hype. This is Ryan actually soaking up real fight IQ from someone who operates every day under real pressure. Benavidez isn't walking him through some flashy, camera-friendly Philly shell. He's showing him the dirty, functional version, the kind that lets you...
Now, let's talk about this footage where David Benavidez is throwing strikes at Ryan, and Ryan is trying to do the silly shell, trying to roll his shoulder, and then return with an uppercut, just like we said in the war room. If he can perfect the silly shell, everybody's going to be in a world of hurt. If he perfects it, because he has the hand-eye coordination and reflexes to make you miss like that. If he perfects it as far as punching out of it with an uppercut, you don't see him throw uppercuts like that. Like, bam, bam. If he perfected jab and dip, jab, left hook. If he perfected, he's a problem.
And that matters for Ryan, because it gives him answers when pure speed stops being enough. Then you get that admitted speed challenge. And honestly, it made people in the gym stop and stare. Ryan is known as one of the fastest fighters in boxing, but here's David, a much bigger man, keeping pace with him beat for beat, reacting in real time. That's not normal. That's elite genetics mixed with insane time.
It's crazy how David Benavidez, as a cruiserweight, can even keep up with Ryan Garcia as a welterweight. And really, Ryan Garcia is the fastest fighter in the game. And still, David Benavidez, Ryan Garcia doing a speed challenge, and David Benavidez is keeping up.
Look, Ryan Garcia is faster than David Benavidez. And he should be. But what stands out even more is how impressive the Mexican monster looks while keeping up with him. That's the part that makes...
Listen, Ryan Garcia is faster than David Benavidez, and he should be. And Ryan Garcia being as fast as he is, I just think it's more impressive to me that the Mexican monster...
Right after Ryan breaks down the illusion, the misdirection, the magician at work angle, like he's daring you to guess where the real effort is happening, Joe Goossen steps in and completely flips the energy. Now you're not hearing...
And it's like, you know, you got the probe or whatever.
That's old school logic crashing straight into new school drama. I like how Joe keeps pulling everything back to class and professionalism. He points out how Barrios carried himself against Manny Pacquiao, because Joe is showing you the kind of fighter who earns respect before he earns spotlight. When he starts breaking down defense, tightening screws, and cutting mistakes down to zero, that's Goossen in his natural habitat. Less noise, more structure. He even drops the Rolando Romero example quietly, not to flex, just to remind everyone that boxing punishes habits, not personality.
The call for Mario Barrios was like, what fool would turn that down?
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, it would be absurd. Well, look, Ryan could be breaking down, looking at a fight, breaking down the tape. He's no dummy. These guys all look at each other and say, oh, if I only got in the ring with him, I could capitalize on this or that. I'm not going to give Ryan any idea.
What really hits is how Joe refuses to live in the comment section, refuses to play internet boxing, and stays locked into the gym, the craft, and the lineage. While Ryan's side sometimes feels built on mirrors and momentum, Goossen's side feels built on blueprints and muscle memory. Two very different energies, both intentional. That's what makes this situation compelling. This isn't a soap opera about betrayal. It's a collision between modern boxing chaos and old-school boxing code. One side thrives on noise. The other thrives on structure. And when those worlds meet on fight night, you don't get excuses. You get answers.
But, again, we're both working to the same goal. You want to tighten the screws on the defense to where it's almost impenetrable. Okay? And then, that's the first rule of order, is to get that defense tight. Because at the top of the game, these guys are offensively really accurate.
Right after Joe Goossen wraps everything in discipline, structure, and that tighten the screws philosophy, Ryan Garcia's father, KingRy Garcia, jumps in and the tone shifts instantly. Now it's not about blueprints. It's about belief, memory, and unfinished business. You hear it the moment KingRy brings up the amateur history between Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson. For him, boxing isn't just rounds and records. It's grudges that never expire. And while some people roll their eyes at the politics, that mindset matters. It explains exactly how KingRy approaches the Mario Barrios fight. He's not
how hard you work on it. Sometimes you just get caught in the wrong spot, defensively. To put a final cap on it, Marcus, it's just that you try to limit the mistakes you make and limit the opportunities defensively that you give your opponent. You have to limit those to zero if you can do that.
Brushing Barrios off at all. He keeps coming back to preparation, height, pressure, and mental readiness, which tells you he knows Barrios is not a walkover. When KingRy says Ryan listens to him, that's not a joke. That's hierarchy. That's a father reminding you who has the final voice when everything else gets stripped away. I actually like how he frames Barrios as a real test. Not hype, not fear, just someone you must be fully prepared for. No shortcuts, no excuses. He shuts down the idea of personal life spilling into fight night, basically saying once the bell rings, none of that matters. It's a hard line, but it's a fighter's line. The contrast is powerful. Goossen talks like a surgeon. KingRy talks like a guardian. One focuses on eliminating mistakes. The other focuses on keeping.
Do you feel like it would be hard to find sparring partners for a style like Mario Barrios?
No, not at all. I seen how he fights, and it's nice. I mean, it's good. Again, I respect all boxers, but it's not gonna be hard to find sparring partners, Just gotta have the same height, as he is, and that's it. Just go from there. But Ryan's tall too, so it's gonna be nice.
Right after KingRy lays down that old-school father's compass, Dirrell steps in and flips the conversation from belief to blueprint. This is where things get uncomfortable in a useful way. Andre isn't attacking Ryan Garcia. He's dissecting him. There's a difference. When he calls Ryan a renegade, it makes sense, because that's been both his weapon and his weakness. Ryan fights like someone who trusts reflexes more than a script. Against Mario Barrios, that leads either to fireworks or to a very long night. Andre keeps hammering the same point. Speed and power can win moments, but fundamentals win fights, especially when the opponent is built to stay standing late. Barrios fits that profile perfectly. He's not flashy. He's not chasing chaos. He's a fundamentals-first welterweight who understands range, pace, and how to survive storms calmly. That's why Andres take lands.
And now you have Barrios. You had Devin Haney too at 47. First things first. We got to get through Barrios, and Barrios he's just somebody you got to be prepared, be well prepared for.
In the comments here, did the divorce affect Ryan at all?
Did the what?
The divorce.
Well, he isn't divorced.
Okay.
He isn't divorced.
He's basically saying Ryan wins if something dramatic happens early. A knockdown, a momentum swing, a speed shock. But if that doesn't land clean, Barrios' discipline starts stacking rounds quietly, the kind judges love and highlight reels ignore. I also like how Andre frames it as a true coin flip. Not hype, not dismissal, just styles colliding. Ryan's spontaneity versus Barrios' structure. Instinct versus repetition. That's the tension. This isn't about popularity or press conferences. It's about whether Ryan can finally blend explosiveness with patience, or whether Barrios turns this into a fundamentals exam that never lets Ryan breathe. Andre doesn't sound anti-Ryan. He sounds like a former champion warning that talent without a plan becomes predictable under pressure. And against someone like Barrios, predictable gets punished slowly. That's why this fight is dangerous. Not because Ryan can't win, but because Barrios doesn't need chaos. He just...
Ryan does beat Barrios.
Do you think he beats? Do you think he beats him first?
If he does, it's gonna be because of his speed. It was he wasn't. Let me pause for a second. My 10%. I got time, probably. If he does beat him, it's gonna be because of his speed matched with his power, and he possibly puts Mario Barrios down. Right. My thing with Ryan is this, man. He never has a game plan. He promises the left hook. He's gonna give you the left hook. You never really see him set up shots. You see him more so just executing and then backing out and then executing again.
When you line everything up, the picture gets clear fast. Ryan Garcia isn't jumping between ideas. He's stacking perspectives. Pressure lessons from David Benavidez. Structure and discipline through Goossen. Belief and emotional alignment from Ryan Garcia. And then Andre Dirrell standing outside the noise saying fundamentals still collect rent. In the middle of all of it sits Mario Barrios, calm, durable, and completely comfortable letting chaos burn itself out. That's why this fight no longer feels like hype. Feels like a test. Ryan's speed, confidence, and volatility versus Barrios' patience, discipline, and round control. One side sharpens instincts under pressure. The other removes mistakes before they happen. No villains. No shortcuts. Just two philosophies colliding under bright lights. If Ryan finds the balance between explosiveness and restraint, things can flip fast. If Barrios gets time to settle, the fight quietly tilts. That's the edge. That's the danger. That's why this matchup matters.
He's sort of like a renegade when it comes to boxing, man. He's just gonna get in the ring. If you shoot, I'm shooting. You know what I'm saying? That's who Ryan is. I think Barrios is really solid in the fundamentals. Like, he's a fundamental boxer first, right? So that can get him past and lead him to winning this fight just off the fundamentals, man. So I don't really know. That's a 50-50.
Now drop your take in the comments. Let's really talk about it. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel Fighters. I'll see you in the next one on Coming Fist Fire.
Anything that's has to do with marriage, whether it's an argument or a separation or, like you said, divorce, it's going to affect the boxer somewhat, you know, but a professional boxer should know that that's his job, what he has to do, and he's got to really put everything aside and just focus on what's at hand. And that's something that you don't want to use as an excuse to say, you know, the only thing that you could use for an excuse if something happened during training camp that still is carrying over the fight.